Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel mecaniquesportive. This is Nicholas. Today I'm finally introducing the new Lancia, the brand that's making a comeback after disappearing. It took me a little while to make this, I thought, well, it's not necessarily the best-selling car, but why not? Because it still has a nice look. A few more dealerships are opening in France, and by summer's end there will be around 20. Basically, it's not what sold the most, so, like me, I'm not paid by the brands or anything like that. I rely on channel views for income, so I focus on models that attract attention. Sometimes I do things that obviously don't necessarily sell, but there's a pleasure aspect to it. And then I thought, well, go for it because it does have a nice look and I wanted to try it out. Because yes, if you know the cars from the group, Lancia is part of the Stellantis group. Basically, it's the base of a Peugeot 208, but with a really cool style. So I thought, come on, let's go. I'll give you a detailed review after keeping and driving it on various roads for a week. We're going to talk about fuel consumption regarding the engine. We're dealing with the 1.2 liter that we know from the Stellantis group. At 110 horsepower, it is in stocks kind. 100 from the combustion engine with an additional 28 from electric, though the totals don't exactly add up. Since we have a kind of big start and stop system, a sort of improved mild hybrid, they call it hybrid in the group, but it's not as advanced as a real hybrid car. You can drive much faster now, even with several phases, thanks to this new engine. And we'll see, in terms of fuel consumption, that it's actually pretty good, considering the kind of route I'm going to take. The car starts at 24,800 euros. All cars change somewhat, but this one has style, and even the interior impressed me. We'll revisit this in the conclusion and at the end of the video to discuss a few things that bother me. It will be available in 3 trims, the base Epsilon, which is the former Epsilon standard trim, and then the Helix. That's what I have here in the Hybrid A version, and then the HF line version, and after that, there will be electric versions. I chose the Hybrid A because I find it much more practical. The electric versions come with 156 horsepower, as we also know in the group. It just came out a few weeks ago, an HF version with 280 horsepower, which looks really nice. I should try it just for fun. Even if, in my opinion, very few will be sold, I think it will still be pretty cool. It's a vehicle that's 4 meters 8 long, 1 meter 76 wide without the mirrors, and 1 meter 99 with the mirrors. Open just in case to know your parking spaces, and 1 meter 44 high at the chassis level. As I said, it's basically the same as a 208 with minor suspension and steering updates. We still have the Eco, Standard, and Sport modes. We'll test that, we'll test the acceleration, and so on. And in dynamic mode, I was honestly pleasantly surprised, even in dynamic. The car weighs about 1,300 kilos, but we're at 1,600 kilos. The electric versions come in 5 colors, including this dark blue that suits it well and shifts slightly in hue. Depending on the angles, 2-tone options. Also available is roughly about 800 euros for a colored paint other than the standard, and 1,100 euros for the 2-tone versions. Here you can see blue and black on the top. Regarding the rims, only 2 choices. Either this one in 17 inches, or more standard versions in 16 inches. In short, pretty simple, the range. The best part is I'll take you by hand to explore the car's design together. It's a nicer way to do it. Feel free to give me your feedback in the comments. Do you prefer that I leave you like this and give you some detailed shots, or that I take you directly, like this, to discover up close, with my fingers like this, where I show you? Let me know in the comments, so I'll take you along like this. To discover this Lancia YPSILON in the LX version, see its style in real life, with sunlight, reflections, and contrasts. Well, it's pretty nice. The blue actually has slightly different shades. It almost looks purple in some of the areas that are a bit more in the shade. And I have to admit, I like it. Afterwards, you can easily recognize the top, the 208 mirrors, handles, and more. But it still has its own little thing, despite proportions that you can recognize in the wheelbase. All that, the shapes, in short. The front, on the other hand, really changes. When you're at the front, you don't think, oh, this is definitely a Peugeot base, or one of the other cars in this segment. What I really like is this triangle here, so this little part in this LED section that lights up. You can see it at night as well. And this Lancia strip, which is a bit like what Ferrari did recently on the 12-cylinder, with this strip that basically goes from headlight to headlight. Here it's set slightly higher with the Lancia, and what's great is Lancia did the same by creating a real identity. You don't find that on any other car, so this part here, plus the 2 big light strips that light up at night, it's pretty cool. Next, we have air vents. You can see them here and a little lower down. and a camera at the front. Same thing with the camera. Look, it's actually pretty stylish what they've done with the little frame, the camera, and everything. Honestly, there are lots of little touches and details. The engineers and designers really enjoyed themselves. We'll discuss the driver assistance system's sensor in this review, highlighting its pros and cons. Not so good things. Next, the car here, the sensors for parking. Then we have the headlights right here, so that's for the lights. And you can see it has a special signature as well, surrounded by this. On the sides, we have fake air intakes or air curtains. Here on the side, you can see that it's completely closed. So they didn't need them for the aerodynamics. And at the bottom, there's a kind of splitter that's pretty well designed. You can see that everything is painted. It's quite nice. What do you think about it already? Next, a 3/4 front view. And especially here, I think it's one of the most beautiful angles of this car. And the 3/4 rear view is also pretty sexy. On the side, you can see the black wheel arches like this. So that's something you see more and more. So it's good that it's painted, that it's not just plain raw plastic. These are typical Peugeot mirrors. And as you can see, it has a two-tone look with a black roof. The antenna up there, fridge handles in the back. It opens right here, and when I open it, well, I'm not going to hide anything from you. I tried the DS number 8. They have the same type of opening, but to be honest with you, this one opens more easily than the DS number 8. I don't hit my fingers here because they made it more ergonomic. Well done. On a car that's much cheaper, almost 3 times less expensive than the other one, they made something more practical. Here, the rear part. Look at this shape. Does it remind you of a vintage Lancia car? Yeah, there's definitely something there. We also find the little Lancia badge here. Lancia, you could say, or Lancia if you prefer. The spoiler is nice, comes in 2 black parts and finishes it off well. We're at the part that blends in here. And so the integrated handle here, that's to give this car a bit of a coupe look. We also find the sloping arches at the back. I always prefer to show you the rims, but I haven't yet. At the front, it's always nicer with the big disc and the big brakes. So here we have the 17-inch versions. Nice diamond cut like this. I really like it. Let's go back here a little, 3/4 rear view, and we can see this part here. So it makes a little shelf, kind of like hallway bars with the lights, the big round ones that you find here. Hold on, I'll do it. It's the same. I'll turn them on. It's even better. All right, if that's good there, I'll even go back to the front in that case. Because look, so the front headlights, that's what it looks like. So this illuminated part right here, you can see it there. And the little triangle that you should also see a little better. There, it lit up, and on the back, the circles like that, so it's really more stylish when it's actually illuminated. In LED, everything is LED at the back too, which is nice, and with the Y design, it's really cool. Come on, and since I'm a nice guy, I'll even turn on the blinker for you. So it's just a tiny part of the Y here that lights up. The Y, as a reminder of the Ypsilon, is also present on this side. I'll turn this off before the battery runs out. There we go, and sleep. So this part is really symmetrical. Lancia is also written in large letters on this huge black strip. And the Ypsilon here with a really specific typography. Not bad, I like it. And when you look at it from the back, it looks like this. Here, there are some small touches on the top you might notice, and on the bottom near the exhaust area. Otherwise, everything has been completely reworked. Nothing is taken from others, which is clear in the shapes and more. It's very nice with the little light here, the fog light in the center, the backup camera here, the Epsilon, and you can open the trunk right here. 325 liters that you find inside. The backseat folds in a 60-40 split with International Standards Organization FIX mounts on the outer seats and some space available. A spare wheel is available for €150. For example, today you can see that it's not there, but it could have been. And you can see there's actually quite a bit of space in that spot. Okay, all right. I even know like this. I know you want me to do it. It goes through without too much trouble. There's a guy who just passed by on a bike. He looked at me like, what's he doing? I do this for you every time. Holding the camera makes things less convenient. Because there are motors and everything on the gimbal to keep it level, so it's not electric. You close it by hand and that's it. All right, on this side, we'll refill the gas. So rear left, we'll see the fuel consumption during this test. That's pretty good. So I open my door and I'm going to the back so the front seat is adjusted for me. Look at the space I have and look at the seats already. Let's move on to the seat. We'll stay on this door. First on the door. Well, we know it's all plastic. Except for one, there's still a little bit of faux leather here, a little bit padded, but very, very slightly. And then the rest is all plastic anyway. Still, electric windows and a small compartment for little bottles. Next, the seats. Look, mixed seats with velvet, kind of fake leather, and honestly, it really has style, the patterns and everything. The velvet is really beautiful, and honestly, I love it. It's different. There are rarely other cars that have this. So we have 3 seats in the back, and you can fold the bench down in a 2/3, 1/3 split. No ski hatch or anything like that. So Nicholas, he comes to sit here. Nicholas is 1 meter 80 tall, so you especially need to raise this headrest. I'm going to close the door. And so Nicholas, 1 meter 80, Nicholas, 1 meter 80, he's wedged in. He's hitting up there. He's hitting on the left. He's hitting in the back. He's hitting on top, everywhere. If I sit up straight, Nicholas feels a bit cramped because he's tall and drives further back, but I still have some space. So for the legs, it's okay. For the feet, my feet just barely fit under the seat, but for the head, it's much more complicated. Look, here I'm sitting straight in my seat. I'm turning. It's not made for tall people in the back. It's better to be short or have kids in the back. Really. It's not really a big family car, but it's good for a couple or occasionally giving friends a ride. And if I lower myself a little, it's a bit better, but then my back is a bit arched. My little love handles stick out. I'm not really sitting straight on a long trip. That might make a bit of a difference. On the other hand, I have 2 USB Type-C ports here with fast charging. I have pockets on the back of both seats, and I can even see a bit of velvet here as well. This spot here and the view of the front, which looks like this, where it's pretty nice, especially with this tray that changes. And it's quite unique in the automotive world to have a tray like this. Here we find the LEDs. It doesn't light up, likely because it's been too long since I started it. Now I open it and we'll head to the front to get in and out. It's not necessarily the easiest car. There, let's close the front. So this car door is a little bit specific, so you can see that we have things that are a bit symmetrical. Now, what bothers me a little bit, I'm someone who really likes things to be aligned, so it bothers me when they're not. Still, No, it's not even parallel, actually. That's true. I don't know if you see what I mean. Like, this one goes down here, and that one doesn't go down the same way. It's a bit of a shame. I wish it had been aligned, even if it cost 2.5 cents more. To add it there, it's a shame they didn't do it. Next, we have this big circle with circles that we'll see a little bit everywhere in this car. Like we have on the taillights in the panel, for example, that I showed you a few seconds ago. We have a small armrest here, which is slightly padded. But when I say slightly, it's really, really, really slightly. The window controls that we know and the mirror controls. And the handle that we also borrow from our friends. The storage compartment won't fit a large bottle upright. You'll need to lay it partly on its side. LANCIA, the door sills, plastic parts, and seats are all familiar. They've just been restyled, including the front. Look how nice they are. Honestly, it's great. And even the LANCIA headrest with the gorgeous velvet and this softness, this texture, and everything. It's really nice. So I went to my girlfriend's place. She has a cat. And I have to admit, it picks up all the cat hair, so we'll get a little brush. It's the little details. If you have a white cat, you'll notice it everywhere, even in the car. If you use the couch at home, standard carpets, but still with some small patterns as well, like the seats. Double pedal. Since it's a hybrid, there's no manual transmission version. And when I come to sit on board, there we go. I move back as far as possible. What I'm going to do is start it up and turn on the air conditioning. There we go, and that's it. A little LANCIA animation starts up on this screen, and you can see that it's fully digital on both this side and that side. I removed it. Now visibility is better because I had left the lights on, so it had lowered the brightness level a little bit. The LANCIA steering wheel then, like this, don't move. I'll center the camera, the steering wheel. It's not like the Peugeot or others. It's bigger, a little bit bigger, and it feels good. And almost round, just a small flat part here, which makes it easier to pass. Also, this third spoke is pretty stylish here, so it's just a plastic part. I'm not sure if there are reinforcements inside or about the two side spokes. On the left, it'll be the driving aids, the limiter, being able to play or pause, and the assist. So the assist, you'll have the choice between disabled assistance, cruise control, or, well, okay, I have a bug. We'll talk about it during the thing. There, you'll need to activate cruise control. Okay, we'll see that later. This is to go faster or slower, the distance to the vehicle ahead. And, okay, here, the voice command answers the phone, the volume, and changing the music or station. We have paddles behind the steering wheel because this engine uses a 6-speed automatic transmission. On the left, we have the high beam flash like this, turn signals. You can use auto mode for the lights or turn them on manually. The auto mode works extremely well. Next, there's a little button here on the side that will allow me to change my displays right here, as you can see, either the global positioning system or the thing with the driving aids or the consumption info. You can see that there are 490 kilometers remaining. The fuel gauge is here and here on a power and eco, if I accelerate hard or not. And I also found something with a tachometer, so you can see here that there's a tachometer. 1,000 revolutions per minute. If I accelerate, you can see it like this, and that's pretty good. The windshield wipers will be on the right. And the consumption here, for example, with the instant consumption, or the rest with the information like you find on the group's cars. Here, a menu, a screen with the menus. We even have this part here, but I don't know what it's for yet. Does it activate with the voice command? No, not really. And sometimes it lights up here, so I still don't know why. But when starting the car, sometimes it's green, sometimes it's blue. There are times when it does that. I have mirror screen, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay available wired or wireless. The LANCIA home button here, the menus, that's something we're familiar with in the group, and there you go. You can scroll like this. So we have pages with customizable widgets here, for example, the air conditioning, etc. It's great having shortcuts here, especially for the air conditioning. They're very convenient. I can customize it here, and it's stylish. I appreciate the effort, details, and colors. It works well. And look at the lines, for example, they match the seats, or a bit of what's right here with some patterns. It's honestly pleasant. And when you get in, the perceived quality is cool, and especially the style and design are really nice. There are center air vents and 2 on the sides, which is great. Thank you, LANCIA, for leaving this both open and closed. Not just open-closed, that's a major plus. I like having a slight breeze on me, which is a big benefit here. There are also speakers on top. We know that one from the group as usual, and then we'll see all the menus here. At that spot, the HADAS speeding alert is easy to turn off. For example, when I'm here, I click the HADAS shortcut to deactivate it and return to my menu. The hazard lights and car locking are right here, so that's basically it for the menus. Lower down, you have the air conditioning, the volume as well, for the music right here, warmer, cooler. We only have single zone air conditioning, the auto mode, defrost, the menus here that will activate the air conditioning menus. I can exit like this, air recirculation, air conditioning off, and varying ventilation. Here we have a wireless charger right there in this big tray, which is actually super practical. The advantage is that I can put my phone here. Here and then it will start charging. Another thing, very nice, I can put it like this, that's really cool, and like this as well. Honestly, it's really great that they thought of that. It's awesome. Nice job, LANCIA. This part is excellent. One small thing we'll notice later is it's slightly slanted, so it looks nicer. I would have liked it to be straight to avoid... You'll see. By the way, the phone is going to fly. Below, there's a hidden USB Type-C port, a 12-volt socket, and a large storage compartment for more storage. The gearbox, as we know it, so drive mode, we have 3 drive modes. Sport. So it goes through a little bit. The things in red, normal mode, it switches back to blue, and eco mode. Surprise, it stays blue. You thought it was green? Nope, they're surprising. Parking mode here, so when I stop somewhere, I brake. I put it in parking mode. When I leave, I pull drive towards me, so it turns green here. There's no B mode or anything else. It's just an improved mild hybrid system, reverse. This way, it activates the rear view cameras for me. Here, the rear view camera is quite visible with good definition. And if I go forward, it shows me the front or rear camera. That's actually pretty good. Then I can switch to manual mode if I want. When I'm in drive, I press M and switch to manual so I can shift. I shift gears using paddles on the steering wheel. The start-stop button is here. There are double cup holders, a deeper one. Then the other, and here, there, the compartment. And in this spot, it's still quite deep. That's a good thing. And the little coin holder or whatever, for me, right here, the seat, so there. I showed you the view from the other side, here, the view. More generally, the dashboard, and I'll come back here. And the glove box that opens like this, quite spacious, very deep. You can store large 1.5-liter bottles deep, fitting at least 2 or possibly 3. And it's true that the storage here is pretty good. And that's what it looks like for this Lancia's interior. One little thing I haven't mentioned is that the battery is located here. And look, actually, here, when I come in, don't move there. See, I can't move my foot back because there's this big thing. Sometimes I like to bring my feet here, but I can't pull them any closer. That's minor. I wish they'd put that on my passenger's side instead, since it's missing there. Yeah, when I'm the one driving, normally you're making me happy. Not the passengers. They don't matter since they didn't buy the car. All right, let's go try it out. So I just reset the counters. We're going to be able to set off with this new Ypsilon. But inside, it's nice today. 720 kilometers of range with a full tank, at least that's what the car says. And here we go. I was able to start the first few meters in full electric mode, and then the engine kicks in. Hybrid version. It's actually quite pleasant. For example, right now I'm back in full electric mode. It started up for a little while, then it shut off again. It warmed up for a few minutes just before because I had to plug in the cameras and so on. Anyway, improved mild hybridization is here now. It's much more than just a simple start and stop like it used to be, and it's actually quite pleasant. The speed bumps there, yeah, doesn't seem bad. Honestly, the steering is good. It's pretty light. There's a lot of gearing at the start. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Next. Here we go. It's this way. Here we go. A kind of small speed bump. It's comfortable. The large tray holds your phone easily, and there's a wireless charger. All that. The armrest is nice at first glance. Like this, it looks cool. So now I'm off for at least 100 kilometers. Diaz number 8. We tried that a week ago. It was last week that I actually tried it in the video. Now, I'm spacing out the videos a bit because back then I would really go out, try it the same evening, and release the video for you. Now I schedule things to give myself a break. Because I won't hide from you that it's been 5 years of nonstop work, working 80 hours a week. And I'm starting to tell myself that I'm a little bit tired. I'm spreading things out more and trying models I really want to try. And maybe I'll stop doing all the sponsored content, just the new stuff, etc. Drive for the sake of it and focus more on what I enjoy. I'm turning this off now. You hear that little sound? It's because she's over the speed limit since it was 30 here, and I was just a bit over. And honestly, I'm not interested in having a sound like that all the time. The goal is to respect the speed limits, but I admit that sometimes when it's 30, we're at 31, and it beeps, so I always turn it off. The little shortcuts are now pretty fast, which is actually nice. Every time I brake, I generate a bit of energy, which helps recharge the battery a little. Whether the air conditioning is on or it's hot, the engine may run, but will still stop, even with the air conditioning running in hot conditions. Comfort comes first. Turning off the air conditioning will increase electric phases. But personally, I prefer to prioritize my comfort. The steering is pleasant. Is the gearbox going to shift gears? Yeah, it just shifted gears for me. It's really smooth. These new dual-clutch gearboxes are really a real pleasure in everyday use. I have a kind of big electric recuperation. When I slow down, when I release the accelerator pedal, it gives me engine braking, but it gives me engine braking. Both thermal and electric, and normally, almost in every case, from the moment I release my accelerator pedal when I'm in a deceleration phase, the electric motor will recharge and the combustion engine will shut off to save a bit of fuel. So as I was saying, I reset all the consoles to 0 and we'll see how it goes. So, on a long trip to test the fuel consumption, so a 1.2-liter microhybrid with 100 to 110 horsepower. We'll see how it goes overall and on different roads. You know me. We did some city driving and we'll continue with more. I'll have this car for a week so I can give you a real review. I'm going to try to keep cars like this for a week more often, And what is it like to drive this kind of car on a daily basis? I find this way more interesting than doing it for just one day. It's exciting to have something new and be among the first media to try certain models. In some cases, that's what made the channel take off. And thank you for being loyal when I bring you new things. And that allowed me to surpass the Argus YouTube channel almost completely. 2024 in terms of stats, and it feels good that being on my own, I can reach this level of views. Every month in 2024, over 1 million of you watch the channel's long videos, reaching 1.9 million viewers. I'm not talking about shorts or anything like that, so thanks again to you, and thanks to everyone who subscribes, who gets the subscription. It really makes me happy every time. I really like how the 45 kilometers per hour is displayed, especially when I'm driving at that speed. It's really stylish. This car has something extra. It's not just a restyled 208. I think there's really something extra, even if you find, well, for example, that looks like it, that up there. Yeah, you have to share some things, the screens, etc., but it really has an extra charm. So for now, there are only about 20 dealerships or so starting from the summer of 2025 in France. It will grow gradually. There will be 3 models from the LANCIA brand coming, so that's exciting for them. As I said earlier, but on a daily basis, if you like the look, often with a car, it's the look that matters most. Then there's the engine, then the rest. The look, honestly, I have to admit that this LANCIA doesn't leave you indifferent, and it's still a pretty stylish car. The brand had disappeared, but was just relaunched. They had some really cool little models, the Stratos, the Delta, and so on. This brand had some true legends. It would be great if they brought them back in a more fun way. And by the way, there's a Chimera that's coming back, but it's just names. It's not Stratos. It's not Deltas. Remodeled, ultra-stylish, neo-retro. And I think that can contribute. If LANCIA partnered with this brand to create cool products again, it could inspire people to dream. Even though the older generation already knows this brand well, because there's still something beautiful. Well, at 50, it's still quite pleasant. The soundproofing is still good. Here at 70, I push a little more, about 100 horsepower actually. That's more than enough for daily use. You really don't need more. At 70, it's quite pleasant. I don't have a tachometer here in these modes, I just have the Eco Power mode, which tells me, well, if I'm in Eco mode, or if I'm accelerating too hard, or if I'm in charging mode. At 70, it's fine. Honestly, it's a recent car, so pretty much like all recent cars, that's nice. When I let off here, it strongly engine brakes and charges. The more I brake, the more it charges, and I only use my brake pads at the end. That's pretty good too, because it will let you save a lot on brake pads and brake discs. Since we'll be braking a lot electrically, most of the time when we slow down, if we anticipate well, we'll hardly touch the brake pads, and that's a good thing. At the same time, it will let you recharge, so you'll save on gas as well, since the electric motor will help out a little each time. And when you need to speed up a little, the electric motor gives a small boost and helps the engine to save on gas. So now we're set for at least 100 kilometers, and we might even go a little farther. 130, now 140, and I'll keep it all week. So I'll give you a little recap of how it all went at the end of this test. And now when stopped, it starts, and stops like an electric car. If I start off gently again? No, since it was uphill, the engine restarted for me. On flat ground, it might have. If I need to accelerate a bit more, so it's a little sluggish. It's not meant to be a sports car. There will be electric versions with 280 horsepower. That'll be a bit more fun. Maybe I should try it just for fun. This one is really the perfect everyday car. You want to have a stylish car? We'll see how it does in terms of fuel consumption, but it's probably a car that doesn't use too much, really. A little bit of hybrid technology, the tech side, and so on. It's a good choice under those conditions. Now, the entire Stellantis group guarantees their cars for 8 years because, let's be honest, the 1.2 engines, they have quite a reputation. So that's changed. They've made improvements. They've switched to a chain instead of a belt for the timing system. And now, if you do your maintenance as recommended, 8-year or 160,000 kilometers warranty. I think it's good because we're buying cars that are getting more and more expensive, and the 2-year warranty, I thought it was a bit short. Many brands like Kia offer a 7-year vehicle warranty, which I think is great. It's great that the entire Stellantis group is now doing it. It's Citroën. I think they announced it first last time, then Peugeot followed. Then they said they're going to do it everywhere for everyone, and fortunately it might help reassure people a little. At least you can say you have peace of mind for 8 years, even as more people today choose leasing. By the way, let me know if you're interested in this car or any other brands. Would you get a loan, lease, long-term rental, or pay cash? All right, let's speed up a little here. It's going to go up to 110, so we'll do a bit of 90 to start. So, I'll just set myself to 90, not bothering people too much, so I have my driving aids. Assistant here, play what I want. Here, my assistant. I'll set it to 90 to start. It reads the signs for me, it knows. So at 90, I don't have the wind noise yet. Pretty pleasant. In terms of soundproofing, it's still decent. I hear the engine a little since we're going uphill and it's working harder. I can barely hear it, but it's not unpleasant. I can hear a little bit of what's happening outside because we don't have double glazing or anything. But it's not bad. The road noise is actually pretty well contained. Honestly, it's fine. I'm going to have him pick up the pace. All right, I'll stay like this. It goes up by 5. Each time it's accelerating. Honestly, it's enough, and now I'm reaching 110. The engine revved up, but it didn't go too high. It pushed with just a little help from the electric motor for a bit more torque. I'm starting to get a bit of wind noise, a little bit of road noise coming through, but honestly, it's not bad. We're still in a pretty decent car. Having the assistant means I have adaptive cruise control, so if the car ahead brakes, mine does too. For me, that's always very, very nice. For those who know me, if you follow the channel regularly, you know that I'm a huge fan of driving assistance systems. So the more driving assistance there is, the better it is for me. I love driving assist, pilot assist, lane centering, cars that drive themselves and all that. For me, it's a real advantage. At least adaptive cruise control now. The minimum now is to have cruise control if you have adaptive. I have to admit, it's a real advantage. Here, I'm barely using the pedals. The car brakes and accelerates by itself, keeping to the speed limit, or to the speed I've set for it, and that's clearly really good. I'm in traffic. Quick update on consumption after 64 kilometers driven. An average of 4.8 liters, having done quite a bit at 110 after some driving at 90. Drove through small villages and construction zones. 4.8 liters isn't bad. And the range went up to 820 kilometers, so given the fuel consumption, the car thought actually it'll be better. Maybe the previous person only drove in the city, where it uses a bit more. In the city, it'll be between 6.5 liters and 7.5 liters, depending on how you drive. My goal is to give you a mix of cruising and some dynamic driving. Now I'll look for some roads so we can drive harder and test the chassis, but for now it's good. What's great is I've been driven around this whole time, thanks to our level 2 driving assistance. It's clearly the best option, and once you try it, it's amazing, especially in traffic. This way, I don't touch the pedals or use my hands, just keep them on the steering wheel. The car handles well, it brakes, slows to a stop by itself, then starts again. If the wait isn't too long, just a few seconds. Like here, wow, what a stop there, it stopped. The engine shuts off automatically with driving aids, but manual mode lacks auto hold, which is a bit disappointing since it's useful if someone is in front of you. Here, for example, it doesn't restart if it was stopped for more than 3 seconds, but when I touch the accelerator, it starts again. As long as I don't have an idiot cutting in front of me, it's pretty good. And as long as everyone stays in their lanes, that's it. It's still a lot less stressful. Before, I used to get really annoyed every time I got stuck in traffic jams. Now it's, okay, I handle it better. If there were massage seats, it would be even better, but honestly, these seats with this kind of velvet, to be honest with you. I've been sitting in the sun this whole time. What's the temperature outside? Isn't there a display? 28 outside this morning, but in these seats, I'm comfortable, I'm not too hot. That's the advantage of this kind of velvet. It's actually pretty nice. Anyway, I'll keep going like this. I'll try to get onto the A6 for you so I can do a stretch at 130 as well. I'll find you some dynamic. Winding roads as usual, we'll continue the test, and then I'll give you a quick debrief. Since, as I said, I'm keeping this car for a week with an actual stop. Tomorrow, I'll use it for nearly 200 more kilometers over the next few days. So far, I've covered about 80 kilometers, including some stretches at 110. But it's been a mix with traffic jams and other conditions. Average at 4.8 liters still, and here in the turn, right after the turn. It goes up to 130. So, of course, we're going to test that. So what I do is, as soon as I see the sign, I turn up the cruise control to go to 130. I let it climb with the cruise control, go up to 130. At 110, it was fine. We didn't have any wind noise, just moderate engine noise. Now at 130 kilometers per hour. Right now, I'm at 130. I'm starting to get some wind noise coming onto the windshield. To be honest with you, it's still okay, not excessive, and the engine noise stays pretty low. I'm mainly starting to hear rolling noise now. It's mostly the rolling noise that makes a bit of sound inside the cabin, but it's not excessive. That's pretty good. I've got a big Camaro behind me, a V8 Camaro SS that came up quickly. I'm going to let him pass with his big V8. Oh, subtle. Stock exhaust at 130 kilometers per hour, honestly. It gets muffled, but that's how it is with this kind of car. So it's not the biggest, it's not a huge luxury sedan, etc. Sarah, let's not forget, it's still a price that's pretty reasonable compared to everything we see these days. Yeah, it works, so I'm not in. Instant consumption. Here it tells me 6.4 liters, 6.1 liters. It's going up a bit now. Oh, there's the police. There are many police officers today since summer vacation departures begin. And here, even going uphill, 6.4 liters, while being at 132, so that's 130 on the global positioning system. 6.1 liters. Now it's going down a little. It's pretty flat here. .58, that's what it says here. 5.7, 5.8, 5.9. 6 liters. There, it goes up a little bit. I think to be on the safe side will be between 6 liters and 6 liters. 5 per 100, in my opinion, on the highway, going at 130 the whole way. That seems to me to be about the number. So here, I keep going like this. I finally used more fuel after passing 800 kilometers. I've driven 85 kilometers. So honestly, I think if you take small country roads at a relaxed pace at 80 to 90, there may be a way to get more out of it. Maybe 900 kilometers of total range if you really use up the reserve. All right, here I am on some country roads. This is my favorite rough little road full of bumps, really bouncy, and so on. In terms of comfort, it's still decent. It absorbs shocks pretty well. Yeah, it does the job pretty well. It absorbs shocks about as well as a Peugeot. So they're related. They do look quite similar. I'm accelerating again, and honestly, the acceleration is more than enough. We clearly don't need more. It works well enough. Then we have the drive modes. But to be honest, I don't really see the point of the drive modes. The sport mode will push the gears a little further. Eco mode, on the other hand, really limits the car and the throttle response. At that point, yes, it can be useful if you really want to save a little money. There we go, the big bump here. Yeah, it actually absorbs it pretty well. It's a mix between a car that handles a bit in comfort, but it's more focused on comfort. Because when I do this, you can see it really compresses, it leans, it puts a lot of weight on one side. It's not made to be dynamic. Even if I put it in sport mode, it won't change much. Except for a slight feeling in the steering, which makes it just a little bit better. As for comfort, it's actually pretty good. It's not as good as a Citroën. Honestly, I just spent a week driving a Citroën C3 and it was very focused on comfort. And still, it was the Citroën U, which didn't even have seats as good as these. They were cheaper, lower-end seats. Honestly, if we had put these seats together with Citroën's suspension, it would have been really awesome. Here, the seats hold you a little bit. It's not bad. We're getting to the road where there's absolutely no one. I'm gonna be able to put it back in sport mode here. I'm stopping, the engine is running because I'm in sport mode. And 0 to 100 and 100 to 0. Here we go. Oh, it takes off really well. Okay, wow. 50 already, 60, 65, 70, 82, 86, 90, 100. That's really not bad, that's enough. The start was punchy, now it's 100 to 0. Turn on the hazard lights, etc. It really dives, not bad. I don't know if you saw, the rear really lifts up in the mirror. When I do that, I only see the sky. There's no more road, just sky, so you really feel like you're diving. It's not unpleasant because we have comfort, the ABS works well, and I feel safe. It gets the job done. The goal is to be totally transparent with you. In the videos, I admit there are still some minor vibrations from the furniture. You know, the little ones. I don't know where it comes from. Listen, I think you'll hear it. It's a bit of a shame for a car that has 4,700 kilometers. My goal now is really to finally tell you, now, and as it's always been, to tell you the whole truth about cars. Very pleasant and good, but I admit these furniture noises are a shame. You all know the famous roundabout test where the phone got thrown out. In the roundabout test, we saw that it can kill phones. It holds the road pretty well. It has a slight understeer tendency. It brings the rear a little, but it's not crazy. It holds up. The point is, nobody normally drives a car like that. But just know that the phone, if you take a turn too hard, it flies off. I got up to 101 kilometers, averaging 5 liters after doing all this mix. I haven't tried sporty driving yet, but I'll update you after another 50 kilometers. Because sporty driving will definitely increase it. But there you go, over 101 kilometers. Like the 101 Dalmatians, 5 liters on average after really doing everything as you saw. 15 kilometers on the highway at 130, about 20 kilometers at 110, and the rest is mixed city driving, traffic jams, and road work. So 5 liters when things are running more or less smoothly. All right, here we go on my favorite little road here. Let's go. We're going to test it dynamically. All right, okay. It leans a bit, but yeah, it's still very comfortable, and you can go at pretty good speeds. I've set up Coyote, and I'm trying it now. It holds up well. Opens a bit, but honestly isn't bad at all. In terms of power, well, we've only got 110 horsepower. It's nothing extraordinary. But it's nice, actually. It's still comfortable. And it goes fast. I'm not saying it's a sports car, but honestly, it moves at a pretty good pace. It's quite pleasant, and it handles the road pretty well. So what you need to know is that we've got tires that are designed more for energy and fuel efficiency, so they have less rolling resistance than sporty tires. But honestly, it's not bad at all. It held up pretty well there. What do you think? We still kept up a good pace. Yeah, it's not bad, honestly, with sport mode. I feel a bit more feedback in the steering. It's not a car that's made for driving aggressively like this to begin with, even though there will be some more radical versions later on. Honestly, it handles well, so the goal isn't to do a rally stage, but on the brakes. Yeah, the rear comes around and everything. It's actually a pretty good little chassis. I think if we put some slightly stiffer suspension on it, it could be a pretty nice car with a bit more power. Why not? Because it still has a good look, you know? It's pretty nice, and I catch up pretty quickly to people who are driving at the speed limit, really like old folks do. It says 70, they're going 33. They're really not in a hurry, but good pace. Very nice, very, very cool. I like it, pretty dynamic. While still keeping a lot of comfort, it's pretty safe to ride fast with it, a good compromise. So far, I like this car. Oh, one little thing. My average rose to 5.2 liters. Just 3 kilometers of reckless driving quickly raised fuel consumption. Over 157 kilometers, the average is 5.3 liters. It rose to 5.5 liters on the highway. Anyway, that's what it looks like. I'll keep going. I'll give you little updates like this with the range, a short night video if I manage, and at the end, we'll do a full recap. Now, while I'm out at night, I can show you how it looks. A little bit. So we have a small light here around, by the doors as well. At the feet, there isn't any. And that's it. That's what it looks like at night, too. What's cool is that we have nice LED lighting, and as you can see, it lights up well when I flash the high beams. It really wakes everyone up. Well, and as for fuel consumption, it has gone down a little bit. Because I've been driving on the ring road for a while now, I almost did the whole loop to get to Roissy. And in the end, I brought my average back down to 4.9 over 256 meters and still have 780 kilometers of range left. If I keep going under these conditions, it's actually pretty good so far. Things are going well. So I'm taking advantage of this little country road to test the suspension, which is actually pretty comfortable, and also the high beams. You can see that the LED lights really illuminate very well. That's a big advantage of LED lighting. All right, so same thing. I'm going on a path. Here, for example, you can see it lights up well, but if needed. Here, it's as bright as day and also in white. It really gives you top-notch lighting, and I even have the automatic high beam mode. So by pushing it forward, and clearly here I can see even the slightest deer. That's definitely a big advantage. It's been a long time since I drove at night, and here the big plus is that even. So I'm trying to turn off the high beams here. And what's nice is, I don't know if you can see it, but it lights up the sides really well. For intersections, it's also more convenient. All right, time for the debrief. Consumption. 481 kilometers, 5 liters on average during this test over a week, which is pretty decent. Well, on the other hand, the fuel consumption is good, the comfort is good, the seats are comfortable, the look and all that is good, but there are a lot of bugs. All right, let's do a quick debrief. So I've been driving this car for a week now. As you saw, things went well at first. My goal is total transparency. With you. I have a press car, which is supposed to be top of the line, in perfect condition, reset everything to provide you all the car's features in optimal conditions. Unfortunately, I have a lot of bugs, at least with the driver assistance systems, for example. Now, I can't activate my adaptive cruise control on the highway anymore. It was activated, well, I activated it, it was working fine, and I had quite a bit of driving to do with this car. And just like that, suddenly, it disconnected all the assistance systems. With lane centering and adaptive cruise control, I suddenly lost lane centering, causing the car to drift out of the lane, which was unfortunate. Well, we always have both hands on the wheel, so I noticed it pretty quickly. And the adaptive cruise control, on the other hand, well, it was a bit scary because the guy in front braked, and my car went straight into him. Well, it's a bit of a problem. I'm sorry, Lancia, but it's a shame because we make all our cars like this. And here, I stopped at a rest area on the highway, turned off the car, put it in park, opened the door, closed the door, and drove off again. It reset after 3 minutes. And since then, I haven't been able to reactivate those assists, even though there are no warning lights on the dashboard. At one point, I had an orange warning light come on and then disappear on its own, and I don't know what it was. It's disappointing to have this issue with a new car that has only 5,000 kilometers. I'm sorry, Lancia, but I have to be pretty transparent about this. And I know that these videos also push the people who work at the brands to do better and better with the cars. So there you go. I try to be completely honest with you, all the time in all my videos since the beginning. When there are issues, my goal is to mention them as well, and that's what we call continuous improvement. So the more we talk about things that aren't right, even me, for example, if you tell me things like, well, Nicholas, for example, we don't really like this on the channel, etc., I'll make sure to improve it. It's the same for everything, really. Otherwise, it's great, but I'm tired of holding the accelerator in 2025 with a car like this. After a week with this car, driving throughout Ile-de-France, on highways, national departmental roads, and in the city. What do we think about it? Well, it's pretty good overall. The look has impressed everyone I've met. They all told me it's really beautiful. And it's true that for people who like this kind of design, it really has something special. And yes, it has style, and that's nice. It feels good. I think it's beautiful too. It's clearly one of the main reasons people buy a car, and it was one of the main reasons I wanted to test drive this car. For now, very few of them are being sold. I hope it will develop for the Lancia brand because it's still a car, well, a cool brand, with a lot of history, even in rallying and so on. So we'll see how it turns out. Well, there are just a few little things that bothered me. It's more, let's say, on the technical side of the car, for example, this regulator that wasn't working anymore. There are quite a few big jolts. When you're decelerating, for example, I release my accelerator pedal, there's a sort of B mode that's activated by default. I would have liked there to be less regeneration, and unfortunately I can't adjust that. That's a bit of a shame because it's a strong deceleration, and I like to coast a little or drive in those kinds of conditions. And especially when you slow down like that and the gearbox shifts down, it causes jerks, and especially at low speed. And at low speed, there's a kind of braking that's a bit strange, which you also find on Peugeots. It's out with this new engine. In my opinion, the engineers haven't finished the job. It's a shame. They need to fix it because it's uncomfortable at the end and in the last few kilometers. It also has gearbox hiccups since the gearbox constantly works with the electric motor. And so when it regenerates, so that's during braking, and the gearbox drops a gear, it causes a kind of jolt. Well, that's a bit of a shame. It's kind of like what you get on a motorcycle, for example. Actually, no, not even with the shifter. It smooths it out a bit, which is a shame. Actually, it's like having the effect of a manual gearbox, almost, even though we don't have a manual gearbox. It could have been smoother. I'm counting on you, engineers at the Stellantis group, to review that too. Otherwise, the look is great, the comfort is top-notch, the driving position and seats are excellent, and the interior design is impressive. I loved it. It's very nice. It's pleasant. The look, the velvet seats, honestly, really, really cool. And that's it. So if we just fix those little things, it would be perfect. Now there are advantages, as this engine was well known then. For having quite a few issues, the Stellantis group has now offered an 8-year warranty, or 120,000 or 160,000 kilometers, which is pretty good. Thanks to them for doing this to try to reassure the customers a little bit. Even though now it's no longer a belt, it's a chain, etc. I know that put off quite a few of you, but still, 8 years of warranty is pretty good. Most people now go for leasing. By the way, feel free to tell me what you prefer. Are you more into leasing with an option to buy or long-term rental? Credit or cash purchase? I always choose cash. I buy small cars, but I tell myself that if I can't afford it, I don't buy it. A lot of people get subscriptions like Netflix and all that. Now, we buy a car kind of like a subscription. Why not? I really need to look into this topic. I've been telling you for a long time. I'll really try to do it. Anyway, it's a nice car, just a couple of small things to fix, but it has style, and often that's what matters for someone buying a car. Don't hesitate to find a dealership near you and let me know. Actually, here's a little challenge. Tell me the first Lancia dealership near you. How many kilometers away is it? That way, it gives me a little idea. Come on, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up like this and don't hesitate to subscribe. I'll see you soon for another video. Bye.